Let's go!
Let's go! My mic is muted. Welcome in, Mipkin. Happy Friday, made it through another week. Trying to figure out how the fuck legs move. Yeah, Bao got the exclusive first, let's go. So this rotates forward, we want this. We want these to move. Not this one, but like these? Let's see if that works. Pride stockings, not quite. What does this look like? Not quite. There was... Okay, I think I'm just gonna have to revert this to, like... There was a setup that I had that was like, this is close enough, and it'll probably have to... It'll probably have to be that. Which means I need to go... in here? Not here. And fix some things. I think I need to merge these two. Oh no, that's gonna break the fucking text, god damn it. And I don't think I can undo all the way. I can try. I have a lot of undo slots. I upgraded my shit. I need to make it so that I don't have... Was this loop cut always here? I need to not have 2 loop cuts on the legs. I think just having 1 will be enough. Okay. Hang on. Where am I at? Shift Control Z. So if I Shift Control Z, that's where I made the additional loop cut. So we don't need that. Okay. So let's see. Let's see where I'm at here. What does this look like? Yeah, honestly, I think this is like, this is good enough. I can make this work. It's just going straight up into the fucking chest. But you know what? I just won't have her raise her leg that high. That's fine. Unless, what if we go higher? We can, we have very limited steppy. What if? The problem... I wonder if I should move the joint. I'm not going to do that. Because then I might need to regenerate... I might need to regenerate the rig. And I've heard that that will eliminate the hair bones that I've worked so hard to make. So, that's not happening. I could see if I can just move the bone. Hang on. That might be possible. What if... Can I just, like, grab these? What if I did this? Surely this will not have dire consequences. Gotta grab both of these. What if I move you, like, here? Simply move the bone. Okay, what? Oops! That did something bad. Okay. So we don't move those. These are permanently attached to the model now. Okay, cool. And I don't feel like regenerating my rig, so we'll just deal with that. And we'll learn, and next time we'll have these hip bones lowered a little bit. And then we'll be good to go. And I'll make sure to figure that shit out before mapping out the hair. But on the plus side, I did map out the hair. So we can, like, we can move a hair around and have it look like it's swaying in the wind. We can have the hair blown in the wind. Right now, the current task is to weight paint everything to fix the ever so slightly janky auto weight painting that Rigify did, which is a hell of a lot better than nothing, but there are imperfections that we need to check. Like this, I've been pulling my hair out over this, but I've given up. We'll figure that out next time. As for hand, that we need to fix. Okay. Hand L. Oh, right, I need to fix all the... I need to apply all the leg shit that I did to the other leg. Okay, first of all, assume direct control of the hand. However, these I probably only want to do 0.5 on, or maybe just 0. Let's try this, and then we'll also do 0.5 on the end of this, sleeve. Hand L. So we're gonna wipe you out. Make sure there's no sleeve activity going on here. And then give you just a little bit. See how that looks. .5, probably too much. It just needs to be enough to obscure that the hand just fucking ends beyond the sleeve, but that's definitely too much. Do some wacky shit with this too. It appears to be mostly bending in the correct direction. It mostly wants to bend up instead of back, which is an interesting choice. But also... Oh, wrong one. We can just sort of make it... We can make it do that. If we need it to point backwards. It gets a little gnarly over here, but... But yes, you... Instead of 0.5, let's do like 0.2. No, it just kind of grabs hold of that sleeve for dear life. There's gotta be... Let me see. Is there something else that's like grabbing this? Is it forearm? It's probably forearm. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Which we don't really want that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that do I want to fully remove? I think so. We can figure that out later. I'm gonna fully remove any sort of control over the sleeve. Oh wait, I need to maximize it. Maximize, and then take it away. And then go back to hand. No, it should be on forearm. We'll give you a 0.2. Let's see how you like that. Really? How is that possible? Okay, we're going to turn that to 0. And we're going to see if it is somehow still being controlled by literally anything. Ah, that's why. Take that off. Anything else? Now, wait a minute. I have auto normalize on, and that was supposed to fix that problem, but okay. Okay. Now, you should not be fucking moving. What are you talking about? You're supposed to not move. Nothing is controlling you. What are you fucking on about, dude? Welcome in, Brooke. That's what I do with my hands when I'm in pain. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you just gotta wiggle. I'm gonna blow my shit smooth off, dude. This is gonna drive me fucking crazy. Okay. So when I paint you and I want you to like not I want you to stay unpainted, please. Okay, so if I do this, is it just not? Is it just playing a fucking joke on me? Okay, I see what's happening. It has to go somewhere. That's what auto normalize is doing. It has to go somewhere, so it's giving it to like whatever has at least a little bit of it. So we're gonna turn this off. I did not realize auto normalize went both ways. I thought that was only when adding. Okay. I think for real this time. If I rotate you, yes. Okay. And really, I think I can just extend this further in. Let me... Let's just grab these. Okay, that did not do what I was hoping it was going to do. Can I, like... Oh, I know. I can scale along the x-axis like this. Or, better yet, just fucking extrude. That way it doesn't fuck with the texture that is on the hands. And then shrink. There we go. Can we hide the sleeve? I want to see what this looks like. That is fucked up and needs to be textured properly. What the hell? Into the UV editor we go. Give me... all of these. And you. Gonna take... Ah, that's why it's freaking out. Okay. So we're gonna grab all of you guys. Going to make you very tiny. There we go. Fixed. Now we can move this around, and it looks like it can fool people into thinking there's a wrist there. Alright, beautiful.
Let's go!
Right. Let's go! Welcome in, monster. The old false wrist gambit. Okay, now I need to re-add the sleeve so it can move again. So, let's make sure we have normalize back on. Okay. Forearm, L, upper arm. Okay, so shoulder, upper arm, forearm. Okay. Let's see, shoulder, and then there's like 2 parts to upper arm, and then 2 parts to forearm. Which means, unfortunately, I don't think I've solved this problem at all. Because the sleeve is still gonna twist. But you know what? At least I isolated the hand. So let's do upper arm. We probably want the second part of upper arm to be this. You gotta sell your soul to get kidnapped by an alt-goth vampire woman? Bruh. You gotta... You gotta be the hunter on that one, unfortunately. And then... forearm. And then... lower forearm. Did I do that right? Not quite. And, yeah, the sleeve twisting was not fixed, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. I would need to make the sleeve, like, a separate bone, like hair, and I don't feel like doing that. Sharpen your axe? I mean, I was gonna joke, but, like, they'd probably be into that. But okay, I see what I need to do. I need to add these. Every vertex needs to be accounted for. And then on upper arm, we have to grab these. Some like knife play? Yeah. Some people are into that. Would an axe count? For some, yeah, for sure. Hmm. That is suboptimal. I see. I need to add another loop cut. I think. Well, it's supposed to... Let's see. Upper arm goes here. Lower arm ends here. And I guess they split in the middle? Let me see. So that's upper arm, and then forearm. Let's... No normalize here. Turn that off. No. Okay. Yeah, they do. They need to split it. All right. We set this to 0.5. And then upper arm, you grab the other half. Now this should be a little better, I think. It's a little rough, but it'll do. Okay, let's mirror what we have on the arms and legs here. Hmm. I want to hear this again. I fucking love this song, dude. Okay. So for spine, I need to do this. Up here as well. Okay, and then pelvis R didn't have anything, which means this needs to go. No pelvis action here. Matter of fact, just full wipeout. Thigh. So thigh is here. Gotcha. Thigh R. Let's just go ahead and maximize that. Can't wait to find out that that's a bad idea, actually. Matter of fact, let's test it before I continue. Yeah, no, that looks fine. Doing the hitting the fucking John Woo. All right, that looks good. That looks good. Shin. I can probably leave these as they are, because the legs are moving fine as it stands. So I'm just not going to touch the rest of those. Those are fine. Arm, I definitely need to do some shit. Actually, I should probably finish... I should finish with the shoulder. That way the whole arm is done. Okay, that looks right. Let me just... Those need to all be maxed out. Oh, it's in the hair. I'm like, what? Why is it clipping in at an angle like that? Shoulder, upper arm. Upper arm, and then secondary upper arm. Okay, we need a loop cut here. Let's put you clipping through the first square like so. Okay. This is kind of Budrock. I'll leave this on. This is probably going to move weirdly, and I'm gonna have to slide. I'm gonna have to slide this vertex down. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, there's the shoulder, there's the upper arm, there's the bottom half of the upper arm. Let's see how this looks. I mean, the arm doesn't normally move like that. How do I... The shoulder, I guess, should just be the top. Okay. I think I understand how to fix that. So, when the upper arm moves, this... Yes, I think it is exactly as I foretold. Where it's moving these, and this is leaving, like, a big fucking loose spot for the shoulder. Which, it might be easier if I just move these points down here. That might work. Alright. And that would be a little bit easier to accomplish as well. Grab these. Push them apart along the x-axis. Gay shoulders. Every time someone sees the weight painting, they're gonna make the gay joke, huh? Welcome in, Mino. Happy Friday. Okay. Okay, that's also suboptimal. I guess this needs to be part of the upper arm. Okay. Shrimple enough? No, that did the opposite of what I wanted. Okay. So I don't want it to do that. I guess maybe it should split it. Split it 50-50 with the shoulder. See if that helps. What's this model for? I mean, this is for learning. Eventually, I would love to be able to make models to use in my game, because I feel like that would be... For me, I feel like it would be easier to do this than, like, draw all of the fucking sprites I would need. But this is my first character model, so of course this isn't going to be used for anything. This is just for learning. Oops, that's not what I want to do. There we go. That's better, but still not great. Also, it's affecting the hair somehow. Can't be having that. Okay, what has influence over the hair? You should not. Get that out of here. Get this shit out of here. Okay, and then the hair that's where it's supposed to be. Sanic. Right. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck I want to do about this shoulder. Hmm. Maybe. Upper arm L. Here's an idea. You grab this and also grab some of this little inside part here. How's that? No. No, that did not do what I was hoping it would do. Hmm. So hang on. We make this... Right. So we want that to move a little bit. So give it like, I don't know, 0.2? Need to hide that so I can actually see what's going on. That's all right. That's good enough. Right, if I'm gonna move this, I would need to like lift the shoulder manually to go along with it. Okay, that's why it was being so weird. Which means... these two scale towards the center a bit more. Now... Hmm... We gotta do some more adjusting on this shoulder here. Do a little bit of that. I think these need to be pushed out a little bit, actually. Mm, not quite. Okay. What if I moved you down, and then these were moved in? And then these were moved in like so. How does that look? Not quite. All right. I think what I need to move is the fucking piece of chest over here. Okay. For shoulder left, have it take like 20% might not be a bad idea. We'll start with that. Have it move these. That did not move it as much as I was hoping. Okay. Then we'll give it 100. See what that looks like. Yeah, there we go. And this, the part below it should probably stretch a little bit as well. How about, instead of 100, let's do 90. Let's do 90 on these and these. Let's do like 60 on these. It's a little weird and warpy. Instead of, let's do 8 on the back here and then 4 on the front. What is this playlist, man? This playlist, not the move. But. See what's going on in here. Similar, but the white boy music that I like. It'll suffice. Okay, now to mimic this on the other side. Because I think, actually, I should probably do more testing to make sure that this looks right. See, that doesn't look super great, but then I rotate the shoulder to go with it. And that makes more sense. It's not perfect, but it looks better than it did. It's also disappearing behind the hair. Hang on. We gotta get this out of the way a little bit. Yeah, that's looking right. Zoop. All right. Okay, upper arm. Let's see. We start at shoulder. Shoulder, it's these top two are in red. This triangle in the middle. Okay. Oh wait, whoops. We want that on shoulder R. And then upper arm L is this second ring here. And also a little bit of this. So upper arm R. You take these. And then also upper arm L. This is 20%. Okay. You grab 20% of the shoulder here. Upper 2 is the bottom here. And it's also a little bit of the sleeve. I gotta remember to do that too. 2, let me make sure this is maxed out. Uh-huh. I can see that they're not fully red. And then nothing there. Arms should be accounted for. Now, sleeve. Yeah, nothing until we get to upper arm 2. And upper arm 2 is the entire top of the sleeve down to here, and then 50% in the middle. Arm R2. Down to here. And then forearm is this row and then 50. Is that right? Is it green on that band? Let me see. Yes, it is. Okay, okay. And then, of course, the bottom over here. What are you talking about? Great. Now I need to double check and make sure there's no fucking shenanigans happening on the other sleeve. Brother. Make sure it's not dancing around. Auto-normalize my fucking ass, dude. Okay, that's there. That's there. And then forearm 2. It's all on the bottom here. And I have to double check, make sure it didn't jump around. Okay. And upper arm 2 is that. And then the forearm is like that. Bottom of the forearm, and then the hand not fucking with it. Okay. Now down to the hand. That's 100 and then 50 here, it looks like. Forearm. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Make sure that none of the spine is accidentally trying to control the hands. It shouldn't. I'm pretty sure the auto weight is just based on proximity. So it shouldn't be the hands are an extremity, so it shouldn't really get confused with anything other than like forearm. Okay. Let's go ahead and color these bad boys in. And then forearm is going to grab half of these on the top. Hang on. I can tell my camera's fucked up somewhere. Okay. Forearm L. Oh, it's the full block. Okay. There we go. Now it should match. There we go. Okay, that is arms and legs accounted for. Now I need to make sure that the chest, the center mass, is all good to go. Okay, we're going to start from the top. Just make sure it's symmetrical. That is going to be taken care of when we get to the shoulder. Okay. So this is... What is this? 9, 4, 8. Okay, so 9, 8, 4. Simple enough. Head to the right shoulder. I guess I'll start with the 8. 0.9. And then 0.4 for the front. And nothing else here should have any influence. Okay, cool. Now we check the waist. That's fine. And then none of these. Never mind. You know what? That's fine. I don't fucking know what the rest of the spine is doing. Nice and even. Elvis L. I'm gonna make sure that that's painted to 100. There we go. And we're gonna do the same thing here. That was definitely not painted to 100. Now, how did that happen? Probably something to do with how I set up the pelvis. Must have fucked with it and did not realize. Let's just fucking do this. Okay. I think that's everything. I didn't check the feet, but like I don't know, I was moving them around and it looked like it was fine. Hit that fucking yoinky splinky dog. Yeah, it looks good. Limbs bend in the correct direction. We got like fucking inverse kinematics on the damn waist, on the hips. All right. Cool. Now, what else am I missing? Ah, yes. I need to be able to have the face make different faces. Before that, I have to actually make the different faces. I'm just gonna make a couple of, like, different looking directions for now, and then, like, a blink. And for that, we must Photoshop. To the texturer. Mm-mm. Okay. So we're just gonna make some copies here. I'm gonna do face 2, face 3, face 4. Oh, excuse me. That was a good one. I really just need I don't need like the neck, but I'm gonna, so that they're equidistant, I'll do it like this. Nice, thank you. Face 2, I blink. Just so I know which one I'm working on. There we go. That looks alright. Yeah, that works. And that should line up like so. That was on the wrong layer. And I up. This one will be pretty simple. We just want to move this over by like 2. Barely looking up, mostly looking to the side. Yeah, that'll do. And then this is I down. We move you down there. Get rid of these. Okay, yeah, the dark isn't until the top row. There we go. And then we merge and do the same thing on the other side, which I should have, in retrospect, copied both and moved them at the same time. But you know how it is. Hide that for now. It is going to be hard to tell where the eyebrow begins and ends. But I'll get there. Do I want to... Yeah, that looks a little more... Yeah, okay. However, I think I did fuck it up. One, and then 1, 2, 3. So 1, 1, 2, 3. But as you can see, 1 and then 2 is empty. So unfortunately, that's just going to look slightly odd. Because that looks even worse. Alright, that's fine. Okay, we have our faces. Now it's time to learn how the fuck to make this work. And for that, Fall Out Boy, take a fucking break for just a second. Let me make sure. Have Firefox 2 open. Creating a 2D face animation rig.
For making this amazing video on animating faces with 2D textures in Blender, by the way. Definitely go check that video out if you want a really good breakdown on how to actually make textures like this from scratch, and give their channel a subscribe because their content is really, really good. But without further ado, let's get into how to make it on our own character here. So we have our character all rigged here, but now we want to make sure that we can animate our character's eyes and mouth by swapping between different textures on our face texture. So to do that, first thing we're going to want to do is, if you'd like to follow along with me here, go to the link in the video description below and click on this Patreon post right here. You do have to be a member of my Patreon to click on this post, but don't. So we're going to click on her face here, which is this model right here. We're going to go down to material properties and press this plus icon right here. Then we're going to select our Love Chan body material that we already made, and we're going to duplicate this by pressing this little duplicate button right here. Now I want to
Imagine if Khan Academy did Blender tutorials. That's what we got Chrysune for, bro. We got Chrysune Academy.
rename this new material Love-chan Face. This is going to be our Love-chan face texture. Now we're going to want to drag up a new panel here by going to the bottom left of our viewport here and dragging up like this. Then I'm going to switch this over to a shader editor tab. So I'm going to click shader editor from this little drop down right here. And now we want to replace this body texture with our facial texture that we just downloaded. So I'm going to drag in, so I'm literally going to Windows right here. I'm finding the texture I downloaded on my computer, and then I'm dragging and dropping it in to our shader editor like so.
I have my
right here and delete this one.
I have my faces on the same texture, so this should be fine.
Yet. And the reason for that is we have to actually assign this texture to our face here. So to assign a texture to a face in Blender, all you need to do is, first of all, I'm going to isolate our model by pressing / on my keyboard. So I'm just looking at this model right here. Then we're going to go to front view and just tab to go into edit mode and press W to go to the select box tool and press Alt A to deselect all. Now I want to assign this new texture to all the different parts of our face here that are going to be animated. So that's going to be this part. Excuse me, I'm going to press 3 to make sure I'm on face select. So I'm going to select this face, these faces, all these faces, and I'll even press C to go to the circle select tool and select all these faces, like so. We're going to want to do that in the shader editor, which we already have at the bottom of Blender here. So I'm actually going to scooch these over so I can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit better and make this a little bit bigger. That's good enough for now. And with the Node Wrangler add-on enabled, I'm going to click on my texture here and press Ctrl+T to add a mapping and texture coordinate node. Now, if that didn't work for you, you have to have the Node Wrangler add-on enabled, but luckily that's included with every version of Blender by default. Go to Edit, Preferences, Add-on.
Okay, hang on. Shader, I need to be in the shader editor. And then here we have this. Click on this, Control T, which didn't work, so I have to turn on the thingy. Preferences, add-ons, Node Wrangler. Turn that on, please. Okay, let's try that again. Hey! Alright. Texture coordinate. Am I gonna have to... I think I'm gonna have to make this a separate... Yeah. That is so... It moves it so much, bro. Holy. 0.001. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna need a separate object for the face. That is slightly annoying. And this is after the character's rigged, so this shouldn't... This shouldn't be a big problem.
So we're going to click on her face here, which is this model right here. We're going to go down to Material Properties and press this plus icon right here. Then we're going to select our Love-chan body material that we already made, and we're going to duplicate this by pressing this little duplicate button right here. Now I want...
Hang on, I need to full screen this. The face is a separate thing. Okay. How do I... We're gonna turn the music back on. And I'm gonna figure out how to separate the face while still having it be rigged. So I need this and this. Realistically, I just need these two. So how do I separate selection? Okay, it looks like it still has the vertex groups, so this should be fine. If I hide you... Okay, okay. Now, if I click on this, and we move the head... Okay. Whoa. Hmm. Why? What in the world is causing that to happen? Okay. Hang on. Is it because of... Hang on. Is it because of the shoulders? You've got to be kidding me. I think it's... Yeah, I think it's because of the... Wait, no. It might be. Hang on. You need to go away for a second. Okay. We go back into weight paint mode. And double check. I have to imagine it's because of the shoulder stuff. It's like the only other thing that can influence this part of the body. Now, I have no idea why it's even pulling on the waist. Okay, so we're gonna go to spine 5, and we're just gonna reclaim this. Nope, that super didn't fix it. What? What are you fucking talking about, dog? Something on... It's gotta be on the waist. But that does mean I didn't need to do this, so that's nice. But okay. What's going on here? What has influence over you? Is it the spine? Spine 5? Spine 5! I don't think that's supposed to be like that. Because 5's near the top. Okay. To start, I'm going to take this off of spine 5, and then we'll figure out what part of the spine we do need that to be on. Okay. That's good. That's less good, but we'll figure that out. Okay, so this is spine 6. Spine 5. It should probably be on spine 4. Okay. Spine 5. So spine 6, spine 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 0. Okay. So 5 and 4, definitely not. This should be spine 3. Okay, so definitely not 5. What? Oh, strength. Why was it set to strength 0? What the fuck? Okay. 3. 5, 6, 5, 4, 3. This should control these and this. 2 would control this. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, okay. So 3 would be this and then 50%. 2 is 50%, 50%. 1 is 50%, 50%. And then 0 is 150. Okay. Yeah, that's about right. So 3 would be... I guess 4 would have this one, so... 4 would have this top bit here. Then 3 would be these. Need to be able to see my vertices, thank you. And then 2 would be 50 on this. 50 on this. And then 1 would be 50 on this, and 50 on the waist. Let's see, that's 2. One. Yes, okay. Hey, wait a minute. Do you have a midpoint there? You do not. Okay. Which means this midpoint needs to be controlled at 100. And then spine 1 is all of these. I can't wait for this to turn out to be absolutely horrid. And then regular spine, we just gotta fill these out. Oh, I'll leave that as it is. Okay. How are we looking? I don't know why the meta rig was showing. That was weird. Okay. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. That's all good. A little bit of splitting, but that's under pretty extreme. That's under pretty extreme movement. Okay. Fixed. Goodness gracious. I still gotta test, like, the rest of these, though. One might even say, sorted. Okay. Jeez. And we have the face material. Surprisingly, not in a huge doom mood. I don't know, I just feel like that song in particular is a little played out at this point. Okay. Now, face. Now we can change this or not. Is it because it's applied to the entire texture? Okay, maybe I do need to duplicate it then. Ah, yes, okay, yeah, it's applied to the entire texture. That's slightly annoying. There's not a better way to do this? Whatever. I mean, if it's gonna be like that, then I should make it a separate texture. Alright. What? Oh, I see. Sample all layers, please. I need my information tab. Info. 256 by 64. Perfect. We're gonna copy merged. And this, unfortunately, also has the... Actually, now that I don't have to worry about the neck, I can, in fact, take it out. So I don't need these here. This is 32 by 32. Unsurprising. Two, three, and then 1, 2. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. That can't be right. I mean, it literally isn't. Okay, there we go. It'd be 128 by 32. And this is... Eshra low. Face. Text. Face. And I'm guessing I can keyframe this, but I'm sure the video will expand on what I can do with this. So material, we are going to... Nope. Okay, how did they do it? How did they duplicate it?
I'm gonna rename this
You pause for a second.
new material. We're gonna select our Love Chan body material that we already made, and we're gonna duplicate this by pressing this little duplicate button right here.
Hmm. Oh. That says new material. That doesn't say duplicate. What the fuck? Scammed. Okay, let's go ahead and rename that face. And we are going to grab text face for that. And I need to remap it. Shit. Okay. That's fine. We grab face. Object mode. We go here. There we go. I was like, why is it not showing the right one? Project from view. We need to make sure it lines up with these pixels here. That's how I'll know. Snap cursor to pixels. Huh, so they do get cut off on the sides. Okay, that's probably fine. Slightly too big. There we go. A decade ago, Maya didn't apply textures the same way. Yeah, we have come a long way. But I am excited to have you also learn things. This is native to Band Hero? I think you mean it's native to Daredevil, the movie, like the original. There we go. Almost spit out Dr. Pepper. How about you spit it into my mouth then, forehead? Why is it measured in meters? Can't I measure it in fucking UV percentages? What are you actually talking about, dog? Whoa! That's not normal. I wonder what the difference between point and texture is. No idea. That's how it looks when your normals are too baked. Indeed. Wait a minute. 0.01. I just realized I may need to remake the face texture. .25. Oh. Never mind. It is in percentages. Okay, sick. 0.5. 0.75. Should be the blink. Oh, thank goodness. The eyelashes aren't like clipping outside of the face mask. I got real fucking lucky on that one. Okay, cool. So I figured out how to do that. Now I just need to figure out how to keyframe it, and we'll be sitting pretty. Even more classics. That one. Do you wish to hear 3 Days Grace? Are we in a 3 Days Grace kind of mood? I was ready to skip it, but I will listen to it if other people want it. Actually, before you continue, we must continue learning.
Now I want to rename this new material Love-Chan Face. This is going to be our Love-Chan face texture. We're going to want to do that in the shader editor, which we already have at the bottom of Blender here. So I'm actually going to scooch these over so I can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit better and make this a little bit bigger. That's good enough for now. And with the Node Wrangler add-on enabled, I'm going to click on my texture here and press Ctrl+T to add a mapping and texture coordinate node. Now, if that didn't work for you, you have to have the knit preferences. Click on your texture here and press Ctrl+T to add a mapping and texture coordinate node. Now, you're going to notice something interesting. If we change the X location on our texture here, nothing is actually going to happen. And the reason why nothing is changing in our viewport here is that we need to be on either material preview or rendered view. So if I go to material preview, then change my X location, now you're going to see that our texture is moving between all of our different faces here, because think of how axes work in Blender by looking at the top right of our viewport here. We can see that this is the x-axis, so we're scrolling our texture across the x-axis, because as you can see by the way our texture is laid out, we just have our textures like one by one laid out in a row like this. So the only location we need to change on this mapping node is going to be the x location. If you had your textures,
yeah, it's a pretty smart technique,
vertically rather than horizontally, you would also be changing, for example, the Y, but in our case here, we only want to worry about this X-axis like so. And if we look at our texture right here, we're going to notice that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different faces on Love-Chan here. And as a result, we're going to want to add 6 of a new node that we're going to introduce and add right now called the Combine XYZ node. So we can press Shift+A to spawn in a new node in the shader editor. We'll press Search and then do Combine XYZ.
Interesting. Okay. Search. Combine XYZ. I'm gonna slap that there. I have 4, so I'll need 4 of these, apparently.
Like so. And this is going to be our first one, which is just going to be this first texture all the way on the left here. But we want to duplicate this node by pressing Shift+D, which is the same duplication hotkey as most other parts of Blender. Then we're going to preview what this looks like by plugging the output from this vector into the input of this location on this mapping node, which is not actually going to change anything just yet. Let me make this nice and big here so we can see what's going on in the 3D viewport. So if we change the X location on this Combine XYZ, again, making sure we're in material preview or rendered, so this actually updates, you're gonna see we're gonna animate between all of our different faces here. But of course, we want this first one to transition to this first face right here. Then we want a second XYZ to transition to this facial texture, the third to this facial texture, the fourth to this facial texture, and this one will be our final XYZ node, the sixth. So now we're going to move our XYZ node and hold shift so that when we're moving and changing this value, it's a lot smoother and we have a lot more fine grained control over
that
this.
is handy.
Then we're gonna go to this second facial texture right here on our texture here. So with this lined up, holding shift and left click, you're gonna see that does not line up perfectly. And to fix that, all I need to do is punch in some numbers the old fashioned way here. So 0.16, let's try 1. That's moving in the right direction, so I know I have to decrease this value. So I'll do 2, maybe 4 is right. There we go. So I'm just trying to line up the bottom of my nose with my texture there. So that's looking pretty good. So now I'm gonna duplicate this XYZ node once again, and I'll plug in the vector to the location of this mapping node like so. And because I know that when I lay these out, these are generally evenly spaced, you can actually just multiply this X value by 2 in order to get to this next facial texture right here. And to do that in Blender, there's actually a really awesome, super quick way you can do this by selecting your value, so double clicking on it so you're editing it. Then I'm gonna press space. Actually, I don't even need to press space, I don't think. So I'm just gonna add an asterisk here. So that's Shift plus 8 if you don't know that. And then I'm gonna type 2, which will multiply this value by exactly 2. Yeah, and you don't even...
I would love to know the overlap of people that have made it this far into a Blender character modeling tutorial and people who don't know how to make an asterisk on the keyboard. Like, I would be fascinated to meet the person that checks both of those boxes. What is their life scenario like?
Need a space. So, with that value multiplied by 2, you can now see that we've transitioned into this next facial texture, which is our third facial texture, which is perfect. So, I'm going to now duplicate this combined XYZ node again by pressing Shift plus D, and I know that I want to multiply this node by 2 now, by 3 now. So I'm going to copy and paste this value from the first combined XYZ, or the second combined XYZ node. Then I'm going to multiply this by 3. So that was multiplied by 2, this one's multiplied by 3, and we'll double check our work by plugging this vector into the location. That's looking pretty good, though it's slightly misaligned, so I can kind of change this value here to see if that will get it better. That was the wrong direction. So I'll increase this by 1 by going 4, 9, 3. Here we'll duplicate 4 on my face 5. Our fourth will have our fourth add nodes. So I'm going to press Shift plus A, sixth facial texture as you expect. So now we're going to want to add mixed nodes so that we can actually animate between all these different combined XYZ nodes. So I'm going to press Shift plus A, search, and then I'm going to type mix to add this mix node right here. Then I'm going to set the factor to 0 and switch this from float to vector. So this is going to be a vector mix node with a factor of...
Okay. Welcome in, Thera. Duolingo rewards? Yeah, I saw that. I saw I saw that you can like sub and get Duolingo for free, like a couple months of Duolingo for free for subbing. And I'm like, that's a wild collab. Mix. Ah, this is bringing me back to Warudo, the node graph. I'll put this here, slide these over yonder. $575. Factor of 0. And it did say a float. Why does theirs look bigger? Hang on.
of 0.
Mix, vector, uniform.
Then I'm going to put the vector. set the factor to 0 and switch this from float to vector.
Oh, okay. I see. I thought we were switching it to float. Factor of 0. Okay.
So this is going to be a vector mixed node with a factor of 0. Then I'm going to put the vector from my XYZ node number 1 here into the A slot of my mixed node, and my second XYZ into the vector of the B slot, like so. Then I'm going to put the result into my location of my mapping node, and you can see that by changing the factor on this mixed node, we're going to animate between our first facial expression and our second facial expression, which is awesome. And you kind of want to just keep duplicating this mixed node until all of our facial textures are integrated into this setup. So I'm going to move things around by box selecting so that things are going to look a little bit more clean, like so. Kind of line these up by box selecting like this. Now we're going to press Shift+D to duplicate this mixed node. And now that we've duplicated this mixed node and moved it to the right a little bit, we're going to see that the result from our first mixed node is plugged into the A here. And we'll literally just take the vector from our next combined XYZ and plug it to the B. Line this up, Shift-D.
I have a sneaking suspicion
plug this into the vector of the B.
That I can do this in a slightly more efficient way.
Shift+D, plug this in.
Depending on how
output into the B socket right here in this mix node.
Depending on how the rest of this tutorial goes out. So I'm gonna hold off on implementing this
facial texture into the B slot from its vector output. So there we go. Now we have all of our facial textures set up into these mix nodes. And by changing this factor, you're going to see that we're going to swap between our facial textures every time we change these factors on all these mix nodes, which is super cool. However, to properly animate between these, we don't actually want this sliding effect, right? Because if you're animating between these and it slid like this, that would look a little awkward. We kind of want it to like snap between all these mix nodes. And to do that, we're going to use a math node set to greater than and a value node. So I'm going to press Shift+A and type in value. Then I'll press Shift+A and type in math. That's not how you spell math. There we go, math. So I'm going to set this math node from add to greater than. Then I'll set the threshold to 1. So it's a greater than math node with a threshold of 1. Then I'm going to plug this value node into the value of this greater than node. Then I want the value input from this greater than to go into the factor of this mixed node. Because remember, by changing this factor, that's how we're changing between these facial expressions. So by plugging in the value from this greater than input, it means the value on this facial texture will only increase when its threshold on this greater than node is above 1. And now I just want to duplicate this for every mixed node that I have. So I'm going to press Shift+D, duplicate this, plug in the value from my value node, and plug in the value output from this greater than node into the factor of my next mixed node right here, and set the threshold of this next greater than to 2. Then do it again, Shift-D, value to value. Then the value output of the greater than into our next mixed node, set the threshold of 3, Shift-D.
Yes, sir, I'm not gonna
factor, value to value,
hang on.
threshold to 4, Shift+D, value to value, value to factor, and threshold of 5. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now when we change the value on this value node, it's going to snap between all of our facial textures as it becomes a threshold above 1, then a threshold above 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to increase this like so. Eyes are going to become closed because we're above 1. Then they're going to become happy eyes because we're above 2. Then they're going to become shocked because we're above 3. Then they're going to become dazed as we go above 4. Then they're going to become silly as we go above 5 here. And if you're confused why it's a value of 5 rather than 6 because we have 6 facial textures here, that's just because our value below 1 is actually our first texture. So that's the reason it only goes to 5. So we actually have this all set up now. This looks a little messy, but we're actually doing it, right? This is how we animate between our facial expressions, and you could just leave this here. However, animating in the shader editor is extremely annoying and not recommended. That's why we're gonna add a bone to our rig that actually controls this value node. so that we can actually just animate the face and mouth textures on our rig as we're animating, which is much, much faster and a lot more intuitive. So let me show you how to do that right now. So first of all, I'm going to click on my model and press / to get out of this isolated view. Then I'm going to want to spawn in a new bone. So I'm going to click on my rig in object mode, tab to go into edit mode. Then I'm going to press Shift+A to spawn in this new bone here. I'm actually going to click on my bone right now and name it face_control. This is going to be our face control bone. Then I'm going to press 1 to go into orthographic front view and press G to move it up, S to scale it down.
Wait, I have to pay attention to this part.
Shift+A, more intuitive. So let me show you how to do that right now. So first of all, I'm going to click on my model and press / to get out of this isolated view. Then I'm going to want to spawn in a new bone. So I'm going to click on my rig in object mode, tab to go into edit mode. Then I'm going to press Shift+A to spawn in this new bone here. I'm actually going to click on my bone right now and name it face_control. This is going to be our face control bone. Then I'm going to press 1 to go into orthographic front view and press G to move it up, S to scale it down, like so. And I'll even go to the side view and rotate this. We'll say -90 degrees, like that. All right, so that's looking pretty good, but we don't actually want this in the bone collection it's in right now. We're gonna make a brand new bone collection for this bone.
Okay, before we do that, let me actually follow along with this. Okay, new bone. So we need to go here, edit mode. Scale down. What the fuck? Scale down. Thank you. Over here. I feel like this is fine as it is. I don't think I need to rotate it the way they did. I'll figure it out. Let's put it like... We'll put it a little off to the side. Bone. Expression.
And call it face control. So I'm gonna press plus to add a new bone collection right here.
We make a new bone collection. Here. What did I name the... Okay, so no prefix on this. So this will just be expression.
Then at the bottom of my bone collections, I'm gonna have this new collection called bones. Then I'm gonna double click on it and call it face controllers, like so. Then making sure I have my new bone selected, I'm gonna click assign. And now I'm gonna press this star icon to isolate this bone so that this is the only bone I'm seeing right now, which is very convenient for us.
Okay, click on bone. Right now, it shouldn't be attached to anything. Here, yeah, no parent. Assign to expression.
So now that this is the only bone we're seeing here, we're gonna go back into object mode and click on my Love-Chan face material here. Then we're gonna go to this value node that we spawned in and right click on it and hit add driver. Now you're gonna...
Oh, we're getting into some shit now. Okay. In object mode, click on the face again. So I will need value. Value. What? How did they get to driver?
Now, which is very convenient for us. So now that this is the only bone we're seeing here, we're gonna go back into object mode and click on my Love-Chan face material here. Then we're gonna go to this value node that we spawned in and right click on it and hit add driver.
Okay, right click on the number, add driver. There we go.
Now you're gonna see a very confusing, scary looking menu, and you might even mouse out of it, which makes it disappear, and you're freaking out like, where'd that menu go? What's going on? Don't worry about it. All you need to do to fix that is right click on wherever you created your driver and click edit driver to bring that same menu up again. Now we want to set our object here in our driver to our rig, and in our case here, our rig is literally just called rig. That is our quote-unquote object, and the bone we want is that bone we just spawned in, which is called face control. So we're going to type face, and face underscore control is the bone we want. So that's perfect. Then the type we're going to set to Z location, because we want it so that when we go up and down, that's going to change the texture on our face here. And we're going to make sure to set the space to local space. Otherwise, it's going to be in world space, which is going to be kind of confusing and not really what we want here. So we're going to set it to local space. So with all of that out of the way, something really cool is going to happen.
Okay. You know what? That's fair. I think having the Z location makes sense. Ergo, I should rotate this. So rotate it along the y-axis. Nope. Along the x-axis, 90 degrees. There we go. Back to object mode, back to the face. Edit driver. We want the rig. Bone. Expression. Z location. And then I think I can figure it out from here. I've got the general idea. And we want it to... We want to divide it by 4 and then round it. Let's see. We want to get the floor. Yeah, okay. We want to get the floor of the value divided by 4. And then divide that by 4. Yeah, okay. That'll do it. Add math. Let's see. We want to... Actually, is there... What's it fucking called? Modulo. Do they have modulo in here? What's my add, divide... I guess it... Remainder? Truncated modulo. The remainder of the truncated division. So that would be... Remainder of floored division. Hang on. Let me see what this actually... looks like. Okay. We want local space. Hmm. Z location in local space, which is currently at 0. I don't know if that's accurate. So if we bring this down here, hmm. Did I mishear them when they said use local space?
Here, change the texture on our face here, and the bone we want is that, and face underscore control is the bone we want. So that's perfect. Then the type we're going to set to Z location because we want it so that when we go up and down, that's going to change the texture on our face here. And we're going to make sure to set the space to local space. Otherwise, it's going to be in world space, which is going to be kind of confusing and not really what we want here. So we're going to set it to local space. So with all of that out of the way, something really cool is going to happen here because we can click on our bone now, go into pose mode and move it around. And as you can see, nothing is happening unless we press Z and go down. Now we can see that it's actually changing the facial expressions on our character here, which is super awesome.
Okay, I have to be in pose mode. Okay. So if I go into pose mode and then yoink it, and now it is a value. Okay. Now moving it that much increased it by 0.2. So I feel like that would be enough to change a value. So if we multiply that by 10, that would be 2. So we multiply that by... Let's see, if we multiply by 10 and then divide by 4, that would basically be multiplying it by like, I don't know, 2.25. Okay, we multiply it by 2 and then modulo... Wait, no. I think that would literally be, you just multiply it by 2, and then it'll loop. Okay. Take this value, multiply it by 2, and then combine XYZ, and plug that into here. Oh, right. I need to round it. Okay. So we do got to do some math. So we multiply it by 2, and then we can multiply it by 10, then divide it. No? Yes. Multiply it by 10, then divide it. Multiply it by 10, then round it, then multiply that by 0.25. Okay. So we multiply this by 10. Then floor. There's probably a slightly faster way to do this. Then multiply by 0.25. So I take this, floor it. There we go. So if I then go here, go into pose mode, grab this bad boy along the Z, we got ourselves some expressions, bro. Pretty fucking slick. I can make that go faster. We'll multiply this by 20. Yeah, there we go. So we want our neutral expression. We go up to blink. Okay, okay. All right. And now we can clean this up a little bit. And I think that's the advantage of the powers of 2 for your textures, because theirs was 6 expressions wide, and I assume that each expression was a power of 2 square, but then you ended up with 6 squares wide, which is not a power of 2 in total. They could have added 2 like blank ones at the end just to make that process a little bit easier, and then you can do some easy math like this instead of the insane chain of mix nodes. Like that's a little spaghetti code, but whatever works. I know there are people that fucking hate math, so that's probably easier for them. Get rid of you. And slide the whole thing over here. There we go, looking good. And then from here, I just have to keyframe this, I assume. View. Can I go into timeline? Item. Nope. Animation. If I grab you... Nope, that's the whole fucking thing. I would like expression, please. What? Here we go. Then if we keyframe this... Why am I on frame 215, dog? What the fuck? Please go back to 0. Jump to beginning. Okay, if we add keyframe here, and then what's my frame rate? Current frame, start, end. Viewport. Wait. What is this? No. I'll find it. Hey, I'll just look it up. Blender. Animation tab set frame rate. Right below the frame rate and render resolution settings. Use keyframes to make an object disappear. Gets a little messed up. Here's the frame rate of viewport playback. How do I fucking record? Use preview range. No. Viewport. Alpha. Animation. Not seeing nothing. Well, that's not great. I guess, okay, I guess when I record it for rendering, render, I would like to render. You know what? This is where the donut tutorial would come in handy. Cause that guy will tell me how to do it. For now I just need to make the animation. So for now, let's see, how long? Okay. So we would have it, let's have a blink that's like 2 frames long. So you set this here. And then one more keyframe. Excuse you. I said -4. Place. Okay. Okay. I don't know what the fuck happened, why I didn't save it, but 1, 2. And then we set this back to 0. Hmm. Set to 0, and then I have to, like, apply this. Is that what it is? Blender, apply, transform, shortcut. What was it? Control A? Nope. How do I make you save as a fucking keyframe, dog? I would like you to be the fucking keyframe that I set you to be. I have to set to 0 and then set. Okay. I think I see what's happening. It's slightly confusing. So close eye, stays closed, and then open. And this will be 60. There we go. We got ourselves and blink. We're doing it. We're animating. Okay. We are almost at 10, and I kind of want the animation to be a surprise. So I think I will call it here so I can continue to animate this off stream. Phew. That was much learning. I think I have most of the knowledge that I need to bring this idea to fruition. I can pose the model. I know how to set keyframes, which means I can animate. It's probably going to be suboptimal because I don't know all the tech, but I know enough that I can do a simple animation as an exercise. And I think that's good enough for me. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see who's on. Let's see who's on that I can send y'all off to. Raina's on. Haven't rated her in a bit. That might be the move. How long has she been on? Oh, she's probably ending soon because she's been going for 4 hours. But that just means it would be funny if we rated her first. as always, I like to support smaller streamers, so if you're coming with me on this raid, remember to be nice. You can be little grumbling bastards if you want, but be nice about it. And most importantly, give the streamer a chance to shine, give them a chance to show their stuff. And until tomorrow, where we're probably going to be not doing Blender because the rest of what I want to do in Blender, like I said, I want it to be a surprise. So I should finally be free from the Blender curse, and we'll do something on Saturday. Maybe Jump Space. It depends on how much you want to play Jump Space Monster, because I am also feeling the itch to get back to Daemon X Machina. But until then, thank you, Brooke, thank you, Foul, thank you, Monster, thank you, McVin, thank you, Mino, thank you, Thera, thank you, Jade. I think that's everybody. If I miss anybody, I do apologize. But again, till tomorrow, same time, same place. I will see y'all next time. You take a break this week? Alright, yeah. I'll see. I probably want my anime mechs. But yeah, I'll see you guys then.